Hello BookTube and welcome back to another video. This is a video response having been tagged by C. Gregory on CG Rated Books. He tagged me a few days ago now with the Bring Browsing Back tag. It's 4 prompts and I've got 4 books here that I'm going to talk about, one for each prompt. And I think, I'm not sure if I did this in a week's time I'd pick the same 4 books, because it's been a bit, this is why it's taken me a while. It's been a busy week, but it's taken me a while to pick 4 books because I could have picked multiple books for the different questions. So as I say, you know, it's one of those tags where it's taken me a while to think, now what book am I going to talk about? I think probably 1 or 2 I might, you know, pick again. Certainly one is an example of a group of book, but we'll get to that. So bear with me. So I'm not going to tag anybody at the end of this video, but if you want to do the tag, then please feel free to look at the prompts, and I'll put them in the description, and I'll put a link to CG's his video for this tag as well, because I quite enjoyed reading. That's what you do with books. Watching is what you do with BookTube. Get it right. You can tell I'm new to this. So anyway, so I'll put a link to his video because I quite enjoyed his choices for the 4 tags. So prompt number 1, magic of discovery. Share a book you found while browsing that you may not have discovered otherwise. So I haven't done a lot of browsing recently. Most of the kind of book browsing that I do tends to be in our little, we have a village book exchange kiosk, which is actually a repurposed telephone kiosk. I'll put a video up so you can see. So a lot of my book browsing is really book exchanging. I'll take a book that I know I'm not going to want to keep and go to the book exchange kiosk, and if there's something there that I like, I'll swap it. If there isn't, I won't. Now I'm doing the Read What You Own challenge. I won't be browsing there at all for a while because I don't want to acquire any new books for the next however many weeks it's going to take me to do or months to do the Read What You Own challenge. So this book is one that I remember. So it's share a book you found while browsing that you may not have discovered otherwise. And I'm a big drawn to, you know, covers of books. You know, you can sell a book to me by the cover quite easily. And the one I'm talking about is this one, The Global Soul by Pico Iyer. I'd never heard of Pico Iyer before I saw this book and this cover, and it's just these all. It's a travel book, and it's stories, different shortish stories from his experiences around the world. And I love these pens. I don't know whether you could. I think you can still get these in different places. And normally the top half is filled with fluid, and it's got something that's like, they're like snow globes in pens, but you know. So I don't think I would have ever discovered Pico Iyer, or I probably would have done eventually, but at that time I don't think I would have discovered him. I wouldn't have known about him if I hadn't seen this book and hadn't been drawn to this cover. And I haven't read this for a while, so I probably ought to go back and reread it, but I've read quite a few of his books now and really enjoyed them, and I think this was my kind of gateway book into his writing. So I think without this cover and without being in I don't even know where I picked it up, but the bookshop I picked it up from, I don't think I would have discovered him. So that's my magic of discovery book. Second prompt rather, expanding world. Share a book that's made you view things from a different perspective or exposed you to new ideas. I think I've mentioned I'm a biologist by training, so any natural history, biology, living world, that sort of thing, really interests me and fascinates me. And I'm always open to new ideas and new things. And again, I got given this for, I think it was Christmas last year, so a year ago, 12 months ago. It might have been the Christmas before. Let me have a look and see when it was published. So published 2022, so it's probably the Christmas before. So I've had it a lot longer than I thought. But this is Ed Yong's An Immense World. Ed is a fairly famous science writer. He's written a couple of sort of similar books. He wrote one about, can't remember the title of it, but it was all about kind of bacteria and sort of microscopic organisms and things like that. And then this was kind of the next, and he's writing a third in a kind of loose trilogy. And this is all about different aspects of the senses and how they work in different species. So it's broken down into, I'm going to have to look at this to get it right. So sort of smells and tastes, light, colour, pain, heat, contacts and flow, surface vibrations, sound, echoes, electric fields, magnetic fields, uniting the senses and threatened sensescapes. And it's fascinating. And I would have said, I mean, I've got all sorts of notes in here, and I would have said, nearly every page there was something that was I maybe knew a little bit about but didn't know a lot about. So yeah, that's definitely expanded my world, and it's an immense world, as you can see. So third, open to change. Share a book that has changed who you are as a person or altered your day-to-day habits. Now, I don't pick one book, I've picked an example, and this goes right back to when I was probably, I don't know, 12, 13, 14, something like that, at school, English literature classes. So I would have been 13 or 14, I would think. And we, as every child of that age in this country, I just presume they still do. I don't know whether they do or not, because I'm not really up to speed on the curriculum nowadays. But the curriculum then, one of the topics was always the war poets, and that meant pretty much the First World War poets. So people like Siegfried Sassoon, Rupert Brooke, Wilfred Owen, those sorts of poets and authors. And for whatever reason, it just hooked me. And this is just an can't speak today, an anthology of war poetry. I've got lots of different books and other anthologies, not just of the First World War, but also Second World War and diaries and things like that. And I am interested in military history. And I think probably that started through the war poets and went from there. And, war is awful and disgusting and horrible. And I just think if we can't learn anything from history about that, then there is no hope for us at all. This is getting a bit deep and meaningful, sorry. But it was, this is what changed. This did change my life. Not in a earth-shattering, oh my God, from now on I'm going to be X or I'm going to do Y. But it made me much more politically aware, and about how politics plays a role in conflict as much as anything else. And I really don't want to get deep and meaningful, but this is what I would say. This is a book that it changed me. It did change me as a person, and it did it alter my day-to-day habits? probably to some extent. I think it makes me stop and think a bit more. It makes me try and be kinder. I'm not always sure that I achieve that. But yeah, this is, I mean, enough. Moving on. Fourth and final prompt. Browse a bookstore, library or friend's shelves and talk about a book you found. Can't do that now because I'm doing, well, I could do that now because I'm doing the Read What You Own challenge, and I'm determined not to go into it because I know if I go into a bookstore I will crumble. My willpower is not that great. But I don't know where I saw this fourth book from, but it's a relatively recent acquisition. It was before I started the Read What You Own challenge, and I think I saw it either on BookTube or Instagram on someone's channel. I haven't read it yet, so I can't talk too much about it, but it appealed to me both in terms of the author generally, and the book in particular, and it's Things That Join the Sea and the Sky by Mark Nepo. It's quite a spiritual book, I think, and it's written on the basis of all the sort of things that he's written in his diaries and journals over a number of years. So it's kind of snapshots. So it's relatively short. I mean, short chapters. Things like 2 chapters like that. So I don't know, I haven't read it yet, but I'm looking forward to reading it. I probably will read it soon, and probably as part of my Read What You Own challenge, because I had it before I started. And I think it's one of those books that it just appealed to me when I saw it. I really must find out. If I can find before I finished editing and uploading this video, I will pop the name in the description or on the screen whose Instagram. I'm pretty sure it was Instagram, so I go back and have a look. But yeah, it's a new author to me, so once I'm done with the Read What You Own challenge, if there is more books of his out there, I can go and have a browse and peruse those as well. But as to exactly what this is about, it remains to be seen. So we'll get there soon-ish, and I'll report back in a future video perhaps. So yeah, that's my those are my answers to the 4 prompts, 4 books for 4 prompts. Thanks C. Gregory for tagging me. As I say, I'm not going to specifically tag anybody else, but if you want to take part, then please feel free to do so, and I look forward to drop me a link to your video in a comment, because I look forward to seeing what you might have to say about the prompts. If you have been, thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you again soon. Take care. Bye bye.